EA just revealed the next Battlefield game with an exclusive article with IGN. Vince Zambella confirms next Battlefield will use modern setting, and also first concept art revealed. And in case you don't know who Vince Zambella is, well, he was the head of development team at Infinity Ward for the releases of COD Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2. As you guys know, these are two of the most beloved Call of Duty games, and depending on who you ask, the two best Call of Duty games ever made. But following Vince Zambella's departure from Infinity Ward, he ended up going and working at Respawn Entertainment and developed games like Apex Legends, Titanfall 1 and 2. So when it comes to Vince Zambella and first-person shooter games, they go hand in hand. So with Vince Zambella heading the development for the next Battlefield game, that only means good things. Alongside the article, we were also given our first look, the first concept art for the next Battlefield game, and in this image alone it actually tells us quite a lot. First of all, we can see that the full large scale battles that happen in Battlefield games, they'll be returning. You know, the large scale battles that everybody loves and knows from Battlefield game. Alongside that, we can also see that there's gonna be air, land and sea fights. So basically there's gonna be helicopter to helicopter combat, ship to ship combat, and of course to normal player to player gunfights, just like every first person shooter game out there. Alongside all of that, we can also see what seems to be forest fire. Now if you've played Battlefield 5 and you've played specifically the Firestorm mode, you know about forest fire. That's the way to kind of close in the map, similar to how the gas works in Call of Duty Warzone. Which could this be our first teaser for the Battlefield Battle Royale mode? Unfortunately at this moment we are not sure. Continuing with the IGN article, they say we get our first glimpse of EA's big Battlefield revival and learn more about how it's getting back to basics. IGN can also confirm that Battlefield will be returned to a modern setting after stints in World War I, World War II and the near future. And there it goes. That is absolutely awesome news. As I always say, modern setting, especially for first person shooter games, is the best time period, whether that be Call of Duty. With the exception of Treyarch, they do some amazing past Call of Duty games, but Call of Duty Battlefield, the modern setting is always the best setting to be using in their games because they are not tied to a specific time period and they have to make it historically accurate to that time period. No, with modern setting you can do whatever you want, and that is always amazing. They continue by saying while EA is cagey about specifics when it comes to the concept art, including declining to the name of the city where it's set, though it looks like a lot like Italy, France or somewhere in Europe. So basically the next Battlefield game will be taking place somewhere in Europe. Among other things, it appears to suggest that ship to ship and helicopter combat will be part of the new game, like we already spoke about, and that it will feature natural disasters like wildfire. Okay, its greyish color scheme is evocative of Battlefield 4, which to date remains the most popular game in the Battlefield franchise. Continuing with the article, they say Battlefield goes back to basics. All of it points to back to basics approach for the next Battlefield. Indeed, head of Respawn and Group GM for EA Studios organizations Vince Zambella is quick to shout out Battlefield 3 and 4, two of the best Battlefield games ever made. Zambella goes on to say if you look back to the peak or pinnacle of Battlefield, it's that Battlefield 3 and 4 era where everything was modern. Again, I could not agree with him more. And I think we have to get back to the core of what Battlefield is and do that amazingly well, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But I think for me it's the peak of Battlefieldness is that Battlefield 3 and 4 days. And again, I couldn't agree more with what he said, absolutely 100%. And of course Battlefield 3 and 4 were absolutely amazing. So basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to recreate Battlefield 3 and 4 into this next Battlefield game, and if they get anywhere close to Battlefield 3 and 4 in this next Battlefield game, it's gonna be super awesome. Further down the article, Zambella goes on to talk about some of the things that did not work in Battlefield 2024. The very first thing he talks about is the increase of players in each match. Of course, the previous Battlefield games all had 64 players. Now with Battlefield 2024, it was the first time it saw an increase to 128 players, so double the number of players in each match compared to the previous Battlefield games. He says, did it make it more fun? Like, doing the numbers for the sake of numbers doesn't make any sense. We're testing everything around what's the most fun. So like you said, the maps, once they get to a certain scale, become different. It's a different play space, and I think you have to design around that. So we are designing something that is more akin to the previous Battlefields. I'd rather have nice, dense, really nice, well designed play spaces. Alongside the increased number of players, he also talks about the controversial specialist feature. If you guys know anything about Battlefield 2024, the Battlefield community absolutely hated the specialists, and Zambella and his team have learned from that, and in this next Battlefield game they will be completely removing specialists and going back to the old classes system that we've seen in Battlefield 3 and 4. So that is absolutely amazing. That is one thing that Zambella said that the team have learned from. Now, although Zambella wasn't there for the development of Battlefield 2042, he said now that he's the head developer of the next game, He said that we learned from that mistake, the team tried something new, didn't work out, that is fine. In the next Battlefield game they completely remove specialists and they'll be going back to the previous classes system. And if you're a Battlefield fan, that is absolutely music to all of your ears, because the classic classes system will be returning in the next Battlefield game. Alongside all of that, Zambella also confirms that this Battlefield game will have 4 different development teams working on it, which consists of DICE, Criterion, Motive and Ripple Effect. And actually, in a bit of a surprising news, earlier today EA's Investor Day, they revealed what each studio is working on in this next Battlefield game. Now the reason why I said in a bit of a surprising news, because the Investor Day, they usually talk about all the money they've made and the profits and all that, but for the first time ever they've actually talked about games. Like I just said, the people at the Investor Day, they usually only care about the profits they made and all that, so that's why I'm saying it was surprising to see a bit of games information at the EA Investor Day. But during it we actually get to learn what each of the 4 studios is working on in this next Battlefield game. When it comes to DICE, they'll be the lead developers in multiplayer, which makes sense. Then we have Criterion, who will be working on campaign but also helping DICE in working in multiplayer. Alongside them we also have Motive, who will be working on single player. And finally Ripple Effect, they'll be working on the brand new game mode in this next Battlefield, which Tom Henderson, who is a very well known and credible leaker, has leaked that this new game mode is going to be Battlefield's take on Battle Royale / extraction game mode, so something similar to Warzone and DMZ. So yeah, that should be very interesting if I'm being honest with you guys. I cannot wait to see what Battlefield will do in this new game mode. And to finish it off, EA did confirm that this next Battlefield game has been playable for over a year now. They've been playing it, testing it, make sure to squash any bugs and glitches that they can find. So the game is pretty far in its development cycle, it is almost ready to be released. They did also confirm a large scale playtest will be happening early next year. I'm very excited for that, and to be honest with you guys, I won't be surprised if the full release is gonna be late next year or fall of 2025. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm very excited. It's a new Battlefield game that's gonna feel like Battlefield 3 and 4. But yeah, so far this is everything that has been confirmed about the next Battlefield game, and of course as I learn more I'll keep you guys updated as well. But with all that being said, make sure to click the video on the screen right now to watch me play through the Battlefield 3 campaign. Thank you guys for watching this video.